Hey everybody, it's Marty, the JavaScript party, and Buddy Rhett back here. It is 8:26 on March 31st, the last day of March. We made it, guys. I think we are like just officially in the Southeast in spring. Um, the next April, I don't know what things are usually like here in April, but I think we will have some hot days. We'll have a lot of rain, a lot of pollen, and we'll have probably a couple cool days too, but nothing like no freezing days or anything. Any day now, like the mosquitoes and all the biting bugs will come out, and they will be hungry. So that should be good. Good. Or that should be interesting. I noticed that like if you get bit a lot early in the season, that they seem to leave you alone, and you can just be standing next to people that always stay inside, like let's say in the end of May, the middle of June or whatever, if you're outside, and everybody around you is getting bit except for you, and they're all like, but early on you seem to get bit, but there aren't as many around. So I don't know. There's definitely a lot of stuff we don't understand going on. So I did get the stuff working, and it was kind of weird because I watched a video on Angular and the way the synchronization and the way it knows when to update things and stuff like that. And then I saw a link to another thing about vibing. It's like a new addition to our lexicon, right? Another word that we vibe coding is the phrase, and it's just sort of this idea that you go into a flow state and you just knock out a bunch of code while you're in the flow state and all that. And that is like it's a very very good thing to do. As a developer, you really need to get hours and hours and hours in, and probably the best way to get lots and lots of hours of just grinding code out and stuff like that will be in a flow state and vibing sort of situation. Um, I do think that you need to have a balance. You do need to do kind of like what we did. I think that original code that worked for this, that just had like, was probably like 70, 80 lines long. Like that is a pure, what you would expect to get out of a vibe coding session. Just like a bunch of different things that you're trying, and they all sort of work together. You just and all that. But then if you want any sort of code to be maintainable, then you're going to need to kind of go through a process like what I did, which took a long, long time, of sort of just refining it and refining it and refining it and making it to where things make sense and where you can read through it, it all makes sense. That's how you get sort of maintainable code. Um, Now, the problem is with just vibing, like vibe coding, because I did that for years and years and years, where I would just spend 90% of my time coding was in a vibe coding. The problem is that you don't get the ability to articulate what you're doing. And that means that you can't really convert what you're doing into like English language. So that means you cannot really effectively transmit what you understand and what you know and understand to other human beings. And unfortunately, at least most human beings that I happen to be around at the sort of socioeconomic level that I sort of operate within, um, if you don't explain to them exactly what you're doing, if you can't explain what you're doing and in a way that they can understand it, not necessarily that they could reproduce it, but that they could understand what you're doing, they assume that you're up to no good. Um, they assume that, oh, you've hired some Russian to help you, or maybe somebody and then that Russian is only doing it because they're working for the KGB or something. There's just crazy ideas that all these people get, and maybe they're right, maybe they're wrong. I have definitely seen people sort of disappear for an hour, and they had all these coding issues. Their code wasn't working, and then they come back an hour later, and it's all working perfectly. And then you start asking them about it, and they can't explain it. So it could be that they went into like they had a vibe coding session where they were just purely dropped into this more this vibe state, this flow state that people like to talk about. Or it could be that they know somebody that helped them out, like it could be either. There's no way to really differentiate between the two, because people don't really know what they did when they come out of a vibe state. Now I have used to. I don't really wear devices anymore that tell me like what my um, vital statistics are. And the reason I don't is because I found that, or my personal experience is that, um, like really bad things would happen around me when my statistics were bad. So it was like kind of like for it felt like I was being manipulated. I'd say the best example of that this sort of manipulation I'm talking about in general was that many times I would talk to people on LinkedIn, and they would, a recruiter or something, and we'd be saying, trying to make, okay, can we make an appointment to do some talk or something, introduction at 10 o'clock? And I'd say, oh, I can't do 10, I have an interview, but how about 11? Or I would be talking to maybe even a friend or family. Oh, I've got 3 interviews at 10 o'clock tomorrow or something. And then literally at 9:58, my phone would just blow up. And I would start getting all kinds of phone calls from all kinds of random people right before my interview was supposed to start. Um, and it was just like, this is not a coincidence. And so I do think that we are in a really bad place in this country, in the United States, with data, where like there's people buying data and they're using that data to do nefarious things, and generally individuals are outside of, generally there's no way for you to determine, that somebody's buying and selling your data, and that they have some sort of bad outcome, like they want to buy your house, or they want you to be really sad, so you buy a timeshare or something like that. Like they're trying to manipulate you into, try to put you into bad mental states so that they can take advantage of you. And I just think that that's happening, and I don't think there's any way to determine that. So, anyways, but back when I used to use um, like uh, devices that would tell me what my vital statistics were, whenever I'd go into these flow states, it was absolutely amazing. Like my pulse would literally drop into the low 40s, high 30s while I was while I was vibing. Um, my like all of my vital statistics would just drop. And then another thing I noticed is that if I happened to be in one of those states and somebody um, like interrupted me or whatever, I had a very difficult time actually getting the language part of my brain working again, because this language is so many concepts and ideas. It's just very a lot of overhead. Um, and when you can release that overhead of when you can release that overhead, you can code a lot better, or a lot more effectively, was probably a better way of putting it. But the thing is you've lost that overhead, so your ability to actually explain it, or even you might even come up with solutions that are like not even convertible to human language. Um, so those are solutions you would never even be able to come up with if you were in that higher stage. So, anyways, one thing I kind of forgot is, so after you do so okay, so one thing that we noticed, okay, so I guess a better way to put it is, if we add another renderer, what happens is it breaks, and I don't know why, right? And you get sort of or at least yesterday was breaking, yeah. So it breaks, right? So, and then you get a kind of an unusual message in the console that talks about, like, for some reason, some thing in ThreeJS is being called without a parameter. Um, so, this is just layers and layers away from me. There's just no way that I'm going to be able to fix this. But my next question was like, well, what if I put a delay in this, right? So um, let's say I tell it to wait a second, right? So I do like a set timeout. And set timeout, semicolon, accepts a function, and I'm going to make it an arrow function so that I have context. So it doesn't create its own this object, and then a time. So I say in 1,000 seconds, I want you to create a new render. And instead of that one, I can't remember. I think I need to delete that one. All right. So now we got kind of two things. I guess I need to delete one of these. So we have like sort of this broken one that's sort of that, but let's get rid of that call. And so we end up with this a second later, this white one. And so really what needs to happen at that point is I need to calculate for each edgy view quote. So I go into every child and I create a visualization. So no visualization has been created in there apparently. So let's go ahead and do this. I forgot about that completely, to be honest with you. So let's try that and see if this solves our issue. And does this return the child, I wonder? Create renderer. So it gets a base renderer and it does so I don't even understand what's going on. So this is actually, I'm really glad that we did this, right? So I need to figure out at this point, what I have done is I've created a renderer. And this is what I was talking about. Like you can write code, even though I was like completely cognizant and aware, I've written code and I don't understand what it does. So this creates a renderer. Right? And that's all I did up here. Oh, and then down here, okay, so I go through all my renderer IDs. Oh, I guess that makes, no, that doesn't make sense. Okay, I go through all my renderer IDs, and then for some of them I add animations. And then once the view exists, which is definitely going to be less than a second, so that second this view should exist, so we don't need to do this anymore. We go through each visualization item, viz component, visualization items. So what are the visualization items? What in the world? They must have been in there. This visualization items to array. Go to definition. Oh, okay, so this is everything that's on the screen. So I convert all of those visualizations items into that. And so like if we were to look at this in the inspect, if we inspect this and we were to look at all our visualizations items, see, we can't see that this one's selected, but the very last one, I don't know, it's weird. Where's the last one? So my guess was that the last one would be this one because we added it after everybody else. I don't know. Let's do this. Hide element. That's weird. Let's see. Inspect. This is, oh, so it's the very first one. So I thought, oh, I thought it would be the last one. But see, notice it's left and top is 0. Here, let me reload this because I deleted something. I don't know what the heck I deleted. Okay. So the very first one is in the list is this guy. And then this guy is next. So what happens if I delete this one? Or, yeah, delete element. Okay, that's weird. Okay, so it looks like what happened when I created a new one, whenever I called this function to create a new one, what it actually did was it like took over. Okay, so I have this. Oh. What is that? That was wild. That is funny. That is weird. Let's see if it happens again. Yep. That is funny. Okay. So anyways, this is something I should be able to do. And this is a sort of an indication that I've gone, that, I'm missing some sort of massive concept in this code. And so I need to just take a beat and sort of go through and figure out what is happening here. What I thought was going to happen, and it's completely wrong, is, so this is what my brain thought was going to happen when I wrote this code. I thought I would have a new one down here. Then when I saw this, I was like, I don't have a new one down here. I have a new one up there. Okay, that makes sense to me. Okay, because I never redid calculated the stuff. So its information is going to be screwy. It's going to be 0, 0, 0. Now, what is going on here? Why would it put a new one over here? I cannot even fathom why. I can't even fathom why one of these would go all the way over here when, that. But there's a lot of code going on. There are a lot of moving parts here, and something really, really bizarre just happened. So we need to start digging into that. And I don't even have the vaguest idea where to even begin digging into this. But that is going to probably be the next week or two, just maybe next 2 days. I can't even see. This is the kind of stuff that drives managers crazy, right? Because it's like, I can't even give a guess. I can't even give a wild ass guess of how long it's going to take to figure out what I'm going on here. I guess my gut tells me that it would take me about a half a day, about 4 hours to dig all through this and figure out why this is going on. And this is because I wrote this. If I was trying to look through somebody else's code, like if there was just some weird bug happening like this, and it would probably take me about 2 weeks, because I would have to go down and learn every little aspect of whatever their brain was doing. And if they happened to have written all that code when they were in a vibe state, oh my gosh, yeah, who knows? May not. I mean, they wrote that code in a primal mode that transcends human language. And so what are you going to do? Anyways, it is 8:45. I have work in 15 minutes. It is a very cloudy, overcast day, so I'm hoping it doesn't rain, because I'm starting to need to mow my lawn, so, which is pretty good. So I guess here, it's tomorrow is the 4th month, and I was done mowing in October, so that's the 10th month. So I went like 5 months without having to mow the lawn. So I did not realize that we got that much time off between lawn mowing. Now in June, I'll have to mow like probably the whole property a couple times a week, because the grass just grows that fast that it just becomes unmaintainable. And if you don't mow it, if you don't keep it short, then you end up getting fleas. These little insects start, and they will jump all over everybody. Every mammal will just be covered in fleas if you don't keep it mowed. So it's really important to keep it mowed. And so for like a month and maybe 6 weeks, you're just like, I spend like 6-8 hours a week mowing. Um, and then I guess for like 5 months, I don't spend any time mowing. I do enjoy it though. It's like something I have an electric battery operated lawnmower, so it's like very light. It doesn't weigh very much, and it doesn't make a lot of noise. It doesn't have a lot of vibration, so it's just pretty easy. It's light exercise. The dogs enjoy playing while I'm mowing and stuff. Although, like our little dog, she doesn't like to be out there because it will fling up little pieces of wood and rocks and whack them. And, my German Shepherd doesn't mind her. She has such a high pain threshold, doesn't bug her at all. But anyways, yeah. So we're gonna figure this out. I'm definitely glad that I'm gonna get like 24 hours probably to sort of ponder what WTF. I mean, it is. This is bizarre. Like, why? Why would this guy go up here? And let me see. Inspect. Go to my console. Look at my viz. I think I have. Oh, it's a shame. Somehow the very first viz is the one that's messed up. I think, yeah, I want to, I'm going to need to, in the visualization service, right after I do this calculate positions, console log visualizations. Desktop visualizations. Now, I'm going to tell you that if you want to be a happy software developer, if you want to have a like a pleasant life, you really do want to learn to enjoy this sort of thing. So this is interesting, right? Because there's 16, so there's 17. No, there's 16 of them. But I believe 1, 2, 3. So this didn't even make the list, whatever this one is. So its left is supposed to be 400. Its top, I'm sorry. Left is supposed to be 600. And its top is supposed to be 600. Yeah, so that's, I think, this guy over here. So it doesn't look like it's even in, let's see, where are you? Render child, native element. Yeah, that's this guy here. So I don't think, let's go to the very first one. So it's not even in my viz list. So oh, it is this one. It's this, I think. Yeah, it's this one right there. So, I don't know. So for some reason, the very first one got screwed up when I created a new visualization. So basically, the thing just to keep in mind is that, what does this do here? Go back. Oh, I like that. I didn't know about that. I usually use Alt left. So apparently, we wait a second, and then for some reason, this create render, it seems like steals this other one. And who knows if that's right. Like, I'm saying that with the confidence of maybe 12% confidence that this is, that's what's happening, is this one's getting stalled. But so we create the renderer, and then I guess we go through all of our existing renderer IDs. Oh no, and that's just to set up animations. I think I'm going to comment this out because it is now, while it's pretty cool on the screen, it is a bit of a distraction. Like, I don't think it's relevant to our current issue. We don't want to lose that code though. Like, how we do that is going to be very difficult to figure out backwards. Yeah, see, so it doesn't, that is not the problem. Anyways, Happy coding, everybody. Bye.